Like we've talked about and like you've seen, options are incredible tools for both growth and income. But with options, there's a few key things you need to know, but a whole lot you'll never need to know. And around here, we call that the options rabbit hole. I'm super excited for this pro tip because I'm going to introduce to you Mike Curtis. And I call him Right Hand Mike. And he's been trading with me since 2009. And he's a veteran of mentoring over 500 people, male, female, all different kinds of experience levels, different account sizes. And he understands options cold and what you need to know and what you'll never need to know. So take it away, Mike.
Thanks, Preston. And I'm excited to discuss this really important topic to help you save a whole bunch of time and frustration. So the point of this video today is how to make sure you don't get trapped in that options rabbit hole. So let's dive right in. So like Preston said, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to mentor over 500 people in my time with Trader's Edge. And along with teaching webinars and mentoring those students, that equates to almost 7,000 hours of talking with individual investors just like yourself about how to become investors and traders. And so I've seen a lot of successes and I've seen people get stuck. And so these are some of the common mistakes that I have seen that I want to hope we can help you avoid. One of the big ones, this first bullet point, sometimes it's easy to get really excited about options. There's so much opportunity and you want to start learning and absorbing as much as you can. And you've maybe heard that expression, the last thing you want to be is a jack of all trades, master of none. And I've seen that apply to trading in a big way. So if I could give you some advice, it would be to hone in on this money press. It's a strategy that's been tried and tested. It gives you some wiggle room. If you'd make some little mistakes starting out, it's just a great way to get into the world of options trading. And then as you master that, if you want to add a few more arrows to your quiver, great. Expand into some other trades or some other strategies at that point. But you're here, you're learning about the money press. I would keep a focus on that and try to avoid getting swept up in all the excitement of options trading. The second big one, you don't need to worry about the option Greeks and Black-Scholes model and all of that. It can come later, and honestly, you really don't necessarily need all of that technical understanding to be a successful and profitable options trader. So the last thing here that I want to hit on, we are so lucky and fortunate to have information, endless information, right at our fingertips. All the time, 24/7, just information overload. And that good thing can also become a bad thing. So I've seen people get stuck in this endless world of YouTube, and there's all these know-it-alls and people that, have learned a little bit about options, and they try to get on a YouTube video and teach other people. And it's kind of the situation of the blind leading the blind. So rest easy. Preston has been at this. Trader's Edge was founded in 2003. We've been at this for a while. Helped literally tens of thousands of investors like yourself. So dive in to this information right here at your fingertips that's really focused and laid out in a way that it can help you progress nicely. Use our decades of experience, our thousands and thousands, even tens of thousands of hours of teaching people how to do this. Use that to your advantage as you can kind of hone your skills. So, moving on. What do you really need to know about options trading? I kind of use the analogy, if you've been on an airplane recently, I know me, I'm walking in, I kind of peek down and look into the cockpit, and all the different buttons and instruments and gadgets. And I just think to myself, I don't need to know what any of that stuff does. I just need to know that this plane is going to depart at this time. It's going to land in this city at this time, and it's going to get me to where I need to go. Same thing with an automobile. You jump in that thing, you fire it up. You don't need to know how all the parts are working behind the scenes. You just need to know that that's going to get you to work on time. And so, is there a place in the world for people that get under the hood and understand how the car works and the engine works? And absolutely. And if that's the type of personality that you are, you really want to tinker, you really want to get under the hood, there's a place for that in the world of options trading, but you need to understand that's not a requirement up front. You can get going, you can start trading without understanding all the pieces and all the parts that are under the hood of that car. So we're going to help you jump in that car, fire it up, and get to the office on time. And that's what we're going to focus on as we get you into this world of options trading. We'll teach you what you need to know so you don't get bogged down, you don't get frustrated, and especially you don't feel overwhelmed, and help you on this journey so you can get doing this, get started, be profitable without feeling overwhelmed. So just a quick analogy there. So here's a few basics. Obviously, there's two different types of option contracts. We've got our call options, we've got our put options. Now, we can be the buyer of these or we could be the seller. Okay, so it's kind of unique. We're in a world where we buy. You can also become a seller of something first. You can sell an option contract to start the position. And then you can buy it to close the position. We'll talk about that more in a second. But when you're long, if you buy something, that means in options terminology that you're going long. Okay? If you sell it, you're short. So if any of you have heard of like shorting stock or short sellers, the same concept applies in the world of just stock trading. You can buy the stock, which is a bullish position, or you can short the stock. You can sell it first, which is a bearish position. So we've got to think through this. This is kind of a simplistic little table to start helping you think through some of these different things. So with the Money Press, we're going to be dealing with puts. All right, we're going to be dealing with put options. So when you short a put, when you're a seller of a put, that is actually a bullish trade. All right, when you sell a put, and we're not going to talk too much about the call side, that'll come later. Okay, but focusing on just the Money Press, when you sell a put, that is actually a bullish position. And then when you buy a put, okay, when you buy a put, that is a bearish position. So a put that you buy, okay, if we buy a put and the underlying stock goes down, we're going to make money. Right? If we sell a put and the underlying stock goes up, we will make money. Okay, so that's what we mean by bullish and bearish. So if that underlying stock is going higher, we make money on a short put. It is bullish. If the stock goes down, we will make money on the long put. So the Money Press is using a combination of these. Okay, we're going to be a put seller and a put buyer, which is a lot of fun. We'll talk about how all this works. You're going to see more examples come to life. Like you saw in that last pro tip video, you can start seeing how these begin to make money. So let's analyze that trade you just saw Preston place a little bit further. Okay, let me get my mug out of the way here. All right. This was a trade, a Money Press, and I want to break down these individual components real quick. Repetition is going to help you to really grasp this. All right, so you saw Preston lay it out. Now I'm going to break it down just a little bit further. These are some of the things you need to know to get started and actually start making some money. Okay, so we're dealing with put contracts. Okay, this one was our weekly expiring option like Preston talked about. This one was a few months out in time. All right, so a couple of these things we need to understand. This weekly option, we are a seller of the put contract. So what is sell to open? If you've never traded before, you're probably scratching your head thinking, what is that? Well, we are selling the option to open the position. That's all. We're not in it. We're going to open a position on it. And again, you have that option of being the buyer or the seller. So we're going to sell to open. This other leg of the trade, right? This one down here, we're going to buy. And why is it to open? Because we're starting a position on it. So we've got a sell to open and we've got a buy to open. All right, our expiration dates, our strike prices. Okay, hopefully that's becoming more straightforward to you. Dealing with put contracts. All right, so another place I've seen people get hung up, stumble a little bit. It doesn't just jive perfectly in their minds up front, is the pricing of these. And when we're doing two orders at the same time, it can get a little confusing. All right, but again, you see a couple examples. I promise you it's going to start clicking in no time. All right, so if we sell to open, we actually have money coming in to us. We are selling to someone else. They are buying it from us, and they are paying us that money. They are literally buying something from us that we don't own, which is totally fine, normal, and legal in the options market. We're selling something that we don't own. We're just taking a side of an options contract. And so this is the quote. These are the pricing or prices of this put right here. All right. Now, I like to say you always get the price you wish you didn't get. So if I'm selling something, oh man, and someone's paying me the money for it, I'd love to get $475, but you always get the price you wish you didn't get. So if I just clicked a market order, so we put through a limit order. What a market order means is it's just saying, fill me right now at the market price, get me in. Okay, we'll talk about the difference between that and a limit order here in a second. But if I just said market order, sell this thing, I would bring in about $425. And then again, as the buyer, you would get the price you wish you didn't want. So yeah, I'd love to buy at $960, but we'd probably have to pay that $990 if we just said market order, get me in. All right, so that difference in there between the buying and the selling price is where the market makers make their profit. They're buying and selling, they're making sure our orders are getting filled. And so that's called the bid-ask spread. And that's what the B, I'm writing with the mouse here, so forgive the handwriting. But that's our bid-ask spread. Again, this is some of the stuff you need to know. And there's a whole bunch that you don't have to worry about yet. So this is our bid, this is our ask. Okay? So as a seller, we're actually going to be bringing in this amount somewhere in between there. If I'm jumping in and I'm trading this, I know that I could probably get maybe 440 coming in by using a limit order. A limit order. We'll talk about that again in a second. I'm dropping these teasers. Now I know I could buy this somewhere in between those prices. Let's call it 980. All right, so I want you to think about these numbers. Let me write it up here so it's a little easier. So we've got 440 coming in, right? Because we're the seller. That's money coming into us. That's money that's getting paid to us. Okay, so that's our 440. And then we've got to lay down, we've got to pay someone else that 980. That's going out. Okay, so the difference between that, if we did our 980, I wrote that backwards, but let's go 980 minus the 440. Okay, so we got the cash going out, we've got money coming in, and we know we're going to have about $5.40 that we are paying out. And in the world of trading, we call that a debit. our account is going to be debited, right? Those of you that took accounting classes, the debits and credits, we're going to take you back to that college course real quick. But if not, I like to think of it as you use your debit card, money leaves your account, right? It's being debited from your account. So we're going to have that $5.40 roughly leaving our account. And Preston actually was able to get a little bit better price. He went for $5.35. So the reason I walk you through that math is to understand where this number came from. Now, your brokerage account might try to make the math easy on you. See what they did right here? They totaled up these together and gave us kind of the net pricing there. So again, we're paying overall, we're paying more for this than we're bringing in for this. Okay, that's a debit, right? We're paying out more than we're bringing in. If it were the other way around, if we were bringing in more than we were paying out, that would be known as a credit order, okay? Or a credit spread. Okay? We'd actually be bringing in more than we're putting out. Sometimes when we roll on a Friday, hopefully most of the time when we roll, it will be a credit order. But when we're starting the Money Press, it's almost always going to be a debit order. Oh, disappeared on me. So it'll be a debit order. So when we're paying out, remember it's the price we wish we didn't get, or we didn't have to get. So we'd love to pay $485, but it's going to be probably closer to that $565, somewhere in between that midpoint and that ask price. So Preston picked $535 and the order filled pretty much right away. So that's some of the terminology here. Last thing to talk about is this limit order. So limit debit, okay, we talked about why it's a debit. We're paying more here than we're bringing in here. Okay. And then the limit order, it's kind of like if you're making an offer on a home or real estate. You come in and you say, I will buy it for this price. Nothing more. And that's kind of what a limit order is. We're saying, okay, market makers out there, we're willing to pay $535 and nothing else, nothing more. So if they can fill us for $535, or maybe the pricing has changed and they can actually get it for $530, as long as the pricing is at that number or better, the order will fill. If it can't get us that price, the order will sit and wait and wait. And in this case, we had a day order, so that means it'll just stay active during today's trading day. And then come tomorrow, the order will disappear because we only put it good for the day. So that's what that duration means. Just another little side comment there. So limit order means get us this price or don't fill the order. The debit price is because we're paying more here than we're bringing in here. So a lot of one question that a lot of people have when we get to this point is they go, well, how does this make money? How is this Money Press going to make money if we're paying money out of the gate? And that's a great question. If you didn't ask it, we're going to talk about it real quick as we wrap up this video. Remember, this was out several months in time. So let's draw a timeline here. If this put protection is out 4 months in time, what we have is a situation where we could generate approximately $4 or $5 each and every week by selling a new put each and every Friday, giving ourselves another opportunity each Friday, each week. We roll that out. We could keep generating $4 or $5 each week against a $9.80 investment. So this put that's all the way out into March, that's maybe 4 months out in time, we can continue to sell against that week after week after week, because that's slowly going to lose value, right? This thing is going to lose value slowly over time, which is costing us money. Think of it as an insurance policy. We're buying that and it's covering us for the next 3 or 4 months, and it's giving us the opportunity to generate $4 or $5 each and every week on that put that we're selling. So that's where this thing starts to print the money. That's why we named it the Money Press, because we can continue to sell these puts week after week, bringing in a new chunk of premium every Friday when we roll this thing out. In this guy, sometimes we have to adjust it, and we'll talk about that more as you move along. But the idea is this is going to cover us for several weeks, if not several months, and give us that opportunity to generate some nice income. So hopefully this pro tip was helpful. Again, we're going to keep getting some repetition and help you understand this, going through some more examples until you feel comfortable and confident going out and placing that first Money Press trade on your own. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in.